And we're live.
All right. Good evening from here to everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are at the moment. This is again the Microsoft Speakers Hub, the Azure and AI Show, and we are very, very happy today to jump on this screen again to see how we can have interaction about the novels that are going on around the AI AI industry as a whole. Is a very big content for discussions now. So today we are going to be dealing around building and then trying to see how we can carry out some governance to monitor data and all of that. So today we have Frank Falvey from Cork in Ireland. Frank Falvey is a Microsoft 365 Copilot MVP, and we also have Seena here as always. The Power Apps and the Power Automate experts. She's an MCT from Bahrain, and we are happy to have you here today, Seena. My name is Joseph Afeso. I'm almost an old face here on this show. So I'm a Microsoft MVP in the M365 workload. So today we are going to have Seena kick off with some demos. And I crave that you stay on the call and listen and watch what she has for us today. So Seena, you have the mic.
Thank you, Joseph. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Azure AI Show. So today I'm going to present you about, I'm going to deploy a DeepSeek R1 LLM model into the Azure AI Foundry or Machine Learning Studio, and then I'm going to integrate the DeepSeek with the Power Automate. So let's dive into the session directly. I'm not going to explain much more so it's a little bit long one. Okay. Let me share my screen first. Please let me know. My screen is
Yeah, we can see your screen there now, Seena.
okay. So Azure portal is login. So here, so firstly, I'm going to deploy DeepSeek R1 LLM model in my Azure Machine Learning Studio. So for that, firstly, I'm going to create a workspace in Azure Machine Learning. So here it is. Select new workspace, and here we can provide a resource group. So I'm going to create a new resource group for this. Click on new, and then here the name of the workspace, and here we have to select the region. When we are selecting the region, we should have to be a bit careful because not all the region is having this LLM model deployment. So there are some list of the regions is provided, and here so one of the region is East area. So I have selected this, and here the storage account, I'm not going to do anything over here. So by default, a new storage account and the name also provided. So I'm keeping this as it is, and for the key vault as well, and for the application insights also. There is a container registry also, I'm not going to do anything, and for other tabs as well. So just simply creating a workspace. So now it's going for the validation. Okay, validation successfully passed. Now I'm creating it. So it will take a little bit time to deploy the workspace. Okay, so now the deployment completed. Go to resource. And here also I'm not going to do anything. Just I'm taking the studio web URL for opening machine learning studio. Okay, so here you can see the workspace which I have created is selected here, and this is Azure Machine Learning Studio, and where we can deploy our models. So here I'm going to select the model catalog to select which model I have to deploy. So you can see on the first top, DeepSeek R1 is available. So I'm just selecting this. Okay, here you can see the description, usage recommendations, model alignment, content filtering, everything is there. So this is mostly we are using for in like mathematical problems. It is advisable to include a directive in your prompt, such as so reason by step, and your like okay a step by step procedure you want, or some mathematical problems you want to solve. So this is best model for that purpose. Now I'm deploying, and here you can provide a name as well, the deployment name, and here content filter is enabled. So this is for the any kind of harmful content. It will prohibit any kind of harmful content provided by the user in the prompt. So now click on deploy and then select go to deployment. So let it provisioned. So it is now in provision state. Yeah, it is completed. And here we are using two options. Okay, so to integrate this DeepSeek model with our Power Automate. So here it is DeepSeek R1 chat completion. So one this API URL, and then we are using this authentication key. So we have to copy, either we can copy this and keep it in a notepad, or else okay you can while creating the or while configuring the Power Automate, then also you can just copy and paste it there. So now I'm going to Power Automate environment, and here is my default. I'm just selecting this default directory, and here I'm going to create an instant cloud flow, providing a name DeepSeek flow, and this flow is going to manually trigger, and then click on create. So it will open in a new designer. Okay, so if you are not well versed in new designer, you can just disable it, so it will redirect to the classic designer as well. Now here I'm going to add a prompt. So because we need to provide a user need to provide a prompt, so for that text input I'm just adding. Then after that, we have to connect this prompt flow, this Power Automate flow with our LLM model. So that is DeepSeek R1. So for that, I'm using HTTP. So it's a premium connection, this one. Okay. So it's a premium connection. And here you can see the URI, method, headers, and body. So here in the URI, we have to provide this DeepSeek R1 chat completion URI. Here I'm just passed that, and the method is post. These are the various HTTP verbs which we are using for providing or using for operating with the data. So like get for retrieving, delete for removing, then post is for sending, put update. So post I'm selecting here, and the headers, two headers I'm going to add. One is content type. Content type is application/JSON. Then for the authorization we can use what? We can use the key authorization key which we have deployed while generated the DeepSeek R1. So here it is. I have added the authorization key as well. Now in the body we have to pass a JSON content. So here it is. So this is a key value pair we are using. So DeepSeek Reasoner. Then there is messages. So messages is we are put it in an array like. So here two roles we are providing, one for the system and another for the user. So this is the system role. Okay, and here we are providing a content. So that is you are a helpful assistant. Okay, and now I'm going to add a role as well, so, another role. So before that, here just provide a curly open and close. Okay, and here just one more curly brackets, and here another role as user. Okay, and the content. So here is the content which we have to provide, the prompt which we have created there at the time of input. And now just provide it. Okay, now after this just provide stream is false. Okay, so that's it. So here we have provided the model. So the model is DeepSeek Reasoner, and messages, two roles we have added. One is role system and another one is role user. And the content here we have given as prompt, which the user passing the prompt, it will be add over here. Okay, now our HTTP is ready. Now what we are going to do is I'm going to add one more action, which compose. So this compose action, I'm going to add a function in the compose action. So that is, it has to retrieve the output of the prompt. Or okay, so here for that, HTTP, and here next the choices we have to provide. Then messages, which type of message it is, message content. Okay, so this is body HTTP, then choices, message content. That's it. Okay, so sorry, it's not, I didn't add it. Okay, one more. Okay, just add it. Okay, now so here input added as a prompt, and then we are calling it in the HTTP body, and here the body what it is going to retrieve from the LLM model. So it will compose, and then what is the output of this compose, we will pass it into an email. So for that I'm going to add an email. Just search email and you can select the send an email version 2, and here you can pass the parameters of the email. So 2, I'm just passing my email ID. Then here the subject, just providing the body of this email. So this message is from DeepSeek. We can provide in things, and here you can provide the output of this. Okay, so here this compose, you can see this compose actions output I'm just taking, and here DeepSeek model. Okay, so now my flow is ready. So what we have done here, I have added an input for the prompt from the user. Then in the HTTP here, I have passed the URI for this DeepSeek, and the method is passed, and the two types of headers, content type and authorization added. And here in the body, provided the JSON script for with the two roles. And then I have added a compose. So in the compose, I have given that function to get the output from this HTTP, and then here that output pass it into the email here. Okay, so now I'm going to save this flow. After saving it, we can test it manually. So here is the test, and I'm selecting manually, then test. Okay, so Office 365 Outlook permission needed, so it is already permitted, and here I'm just providing a prompt. Okay, commit information about water lily. So here this is just a text. We can add some mathematical problems also, like it will provide you with the answers. So run the flow, click on done. So here it is executing. It will take a little bit time to complete this process. Okay, so flow executed successfully, and here, okay, just refresh my email. Yeah, here it is. I have the email from DeepSeek, and here you can see this. So here it is, the message from DeepSeek, and here is information about water lilies. Let me start by recalling what I know. So here it is, a description given, and then so this is the final output of this practical session. So how we are deploying model in Machine Learning Studio, and how we can integrate it in the Power Automate. So any questions?
Very good, Seena. That's very good. Demonstrating how a large language model can be used.
Yeah, we can use any language models there. Okay, so it's not about, so DeepSeek is just a new one, so that's why I've chosen that. So any language model we can deploy, and we can just use that consumption URI and the authorization key to incorporate it with any platform, like not only Power Automate, we can incorporate in any Copilot applications. Okay, any kind of applications we can incorporate it with.
Okay, very good. Joseph, we'll hand it over to you next. So,
yeah, Seena, that was a very good one. I commend your efforts, always being on point. So
Thank
Frank,
you.
I'm actually dragging with bandwidth also this evening. I hope I'm able to deliver what I have to deliver. So I'll turn off my camera just in case.
Yeah,
That
sure.
will help me today. Okay.
Okay,
So I'm going to present my screen.
sure.
Okay. So today
Yep.
we are just going to be talking about the applied skill, and that's mainly about how to prepare security and compliance to support Microsoft 365 Copilots. Really, this is a very big concern for people while adopting Copilots. So Microsoft has given like what I call them recommendations that people need to follow, organizations need to follow when they are preparing to adopt Copilot. I was in a session where someone asked what happens to their data. Can they trust Microsoft with the data they supply into Copilots, especially now that everything is agents. It's looking exciting, but then people are also afraid to fully adopt Copilots. And I picked up this applied skill because of my preparations for the SC400, the security and compliance with data handling. So I went through this and I see very, very important and helpful tips that can help organizations. And I thought to bring it on the screen for us to, look at. So how do you prepare security and compliance to support Microsoft 365 Copilots, really? There are very interesting modules that you may want to check out in this particular course. One thing that caught my attention so quickly is the implement Copilot in M365, the steps that organizations need to follow before they go ahead to adopt Copilots. So first of all, you have to so this is actually a topic around how to identify the prerequisites for M365 Copilots and how to implement SharePoint Advanced Management to prepare for M365 Copilots. Then how do you prepare your data for M365 Copilot searches? Because this is very important, just so you are not having like oversharing and you are not also having issues with accesses that you are not aware that actually exist in your environment. So assign your M365 Copilot license. How do you assign the license? And then how do you identify the security features and the control of oversharing of data in M365 Copilot? Because agents, for example, are very smart. And it could even be that data that you're not aware that you have access to, by querying your Copilot, it will just expose those facts to you. And hey, I never knew this was shared with me. Then, if you go through this, you also see how explanations were made about how agents extend Copilot, which is one of the major things that we have, as part of discussions today. So, how do you get ready for Copilot if you are an organization that is not yet or has not yet adopted Copilots? There are basic things that Microsoft recommend that you do. So you have to prepare for it. You don't just jump into the adoption of Copilots. So before you can access Copilot, of course, we know or we may have heard about the integration and the licensing requirements. Users must be assigned one of the following licenses to get M365 Copilot as add-on license. That's important. So M365 E5, A3 rather, E5, A3, A5 faculty, and M365 Business Basic or Business or Business Premium. So this is very key that organizations are aware of this, so that if you are using Business Basic, then you should know that you need to step up your licensing. Then for Microsoft Entra-based accounts, of course, that is every employee must definitely have authentication against the Entra ID. That one is a constant. And then the user must have OneDrive. And then, so these are just part of those requirements that you need to look at. But very important thing about it is what we have been saying on this show regarding the end user training. So organization must ensure that their users undergo trainings to properly use the features of Copilot, because there are actually a lot, and there is need for organizations to develop materials that will cut across FAQ for users frequently asked questions with M35 Copilot. They should also collect and develop training resources to educate the users. So that's why events like this are important, that CEOs, CTOs, people working in IT should hop on this training sometimes here with us, so that they can also cascade information that they will gather here to the member of their staff. So setting expectation upfront is actually a key to drive Copilot adoption. So help desk readiness. You have to prepare your help desk team, to properly understand how to assist end users who will be having issues. So help desk training is very, very important. And then if you want to prepare to launch your M35 Copilots, first of all, very important is for you to identify the early adopter team or individuals to pilot M35 Copilots. So it's not advisable for you to roll out the license for all the users in your organization at a go. So you should look at how to possibly identify a group of individuals in that org that will be like the pilot users of the license. Then they get familiarized with the usage of that license before you can think of rolling it out to people. It's like having pilot users of Copilot license. They monitor the usage and the feedback. So from the admin center, you can actually, I think in one of the events here, we have shown how to track their level of adoption and the usage by the users in your environment. Then you evaluate security diligently. I think this is very important to be stressed, because it is important that organizations use the permission model available in M365 to help ensure that right users or group have the right access to the right content. So the right access, the right users to the right, resources they are supposed to have access to is very, very key, because Microsoft provide like a lot of security tool within the M365 and the Azure ecosystem that can help you tighten permissions and implement just enough access. And that's very, very important, so that people don't get to experience things that they're not supposed to. So there are lots of recommendations that should be looked at really regarding adoption of Copilot license. And that was one of the points that was raised. And the very key point here really that I want us to look at is the implementing SharePoint's advanced management tool to prepare for M365 Copilots. So for this, it's actually very, in short, it was one of those times that I've come across the premium license of the premium license for SharePoint, right? It was when I was reading through this that I actually come across that particular license called Advanced SharePoint license. So implement SharePoint Advanced Management Tool to prepare for Microsoft 365 Copilots. So One thing that is very important here to mention before we even go very far is to whether preparing for Copilot development or managing content post implementation, then SharePoint Advanced Management offer you the ability to prevent content sprawl, then to streamline access management for SharePoint and OneDrive. This is very important. And then to analyze the usage pattern through the comprehensive reporting. So one of the things that you should do is to manage sprawl. So this governs ever increasing digital content in critical, and it is critical for IT, for SharePoints or IT admins to look at this. And very, very important is the oversharing. Oversharing is one of those major considerations that we'll have to look at. So lack of built-in tool to identify oversharing and broken content inheritance put the content at risk, and especially in the new AI era. So admins should look for a way to make sure that they are confirming that users don't have issues with, having access more than what they are supposed to have access to. Then they control content access to they control Copilot access to contents. This is where we are going to be wrapping up with a demo. Existing tool, look for a long act capability that can take action near real time. So what is just here really is we need to consider what content of our organization data Copilot should have access to. And that will take us to our demo for today. And that demo is going to be on the Microsoft Purview portal. I just want to come back to check that I'm still okay because I'm using one screen. And Frank, can you confirm that I can still be heard loud and clear?
Yeah, perfect. And it's very smooth as well.
Okay, that's cool then. Beautiful. So I will just come back to the account I want to use for us to look at something today before I pass the mic over to Frank. So looking at this is the Purview admin center, the Purview center, how you call it, right? So from here, this is actually the new portal. So if we are used to the old portal, you may not just find it easy to navigate through this portal immediately. But then if you take your time to look through, you may just be able to see what you are looking for. So one thing here I see here is the DLP, the data loss prevention policy. So if you come into the DLP and you click on that, if you come in here, you go in to see policies. So what we are trying to do is to prevent some certain class of data from being seen or accessed by Copilot itself, so that you're going to build a kind of restriction to say, hey, no matter what happens in this organization, I do not want this particular data to be processed by Copilots, whether in chats or in agents. So I will just refresh. I think this is taking too long. Let me close out some of them that I don't need. Okay. Okay, I think that should be getting us in a bit. Apologies for the delay. So basically, just to give a background before it loads, as it's taking too long. So what we want to do is to go to DLP, create a custom DLP. I think that the built-in DLP doesn't give or don't give you access to the Copilot's exemption, because that particular feature is still in preview. So, but if you create your custom DLP, you will be able to get to select Copilots and restrict it to say, for example, you don't want Copilot to process health related data or financial data, or you can really go deep to select multiple classes of data to, and then exempt Copilot from having access to those. I cannot tell why this is taking this long, honestly.
So it looks like your PC that you're on needs a reboot. There's a Windows update after installing.
Perhaps. But one thing about live event, this can really be very fast when I'm trying to do my demo on my own. But coming on live events, sometimes I don't know why things don't want to work the way they worked offline. So Frank, you may just want to carry on. We can come back to this while you are doing yours. So I may just wrap up with this after your speech so that I don't have to wait. Keep us on the call for longer than normal.
So you can keep that loading and we'll just come back to it. I'm just going to do a brief overview on agentic AI. I'll just share my screen. 1 second now. You see my screen there?
Yes, Frank.
Okay, thanks.
So Rebecca event and everything would just cease. Can you imagine that? Just to refresh a page.
Just put your mic on mute there, Joseph.
Apologies.
Okay. So agentic AI is kind of the new topic in town at the moment. It's could be called the third wave. So we had the first wave was the traditional AI that we had around for years, up to 2022 when the likes of OpenAI and ChatGPT came in. So now 2025, and we have the third wave of AI, which is called agentic AI. And this refers to artificial intelligence systems that feature autonomous decision making, goal-driven actions, learning adaptive capabilities, and advanced reasoning. So unlike AI agents, which kind of utilize, or we could call them chatbots, that we all kind of know them, which utilize a single agent to focus on a specific task. Agentic agents employ multiple agents to handle complex tasks, complex workflows on their own. So, and learning and adapting in real time based on experiences and feedbacks. An IT support system, say using non-agentic AI, might just support a ticket kind of system, giving scripted replies. However, an agentic AI-powered system can understand a user's issue through natural language and access the right system, and it can figure out the best solution and the best action to take. Like we'd say resetting a password or changing permissions, something like that it will pick up. And there are four main features that set agentic AI apart from traditional AI. First one is autonomous decision making, right? Agentic AI doesn't just follow simple rules. It can also analyze situations and decide what to do. And it can act independently without the need of human input. Whereas previously, the chatbots can go so far and then a human has to intervene. And the second one then, I suppose, goal-driven actions, while traditional AI focused on reasoning patterns, agentic AI works towards specific objectives by planning and carrying out multi tasks. Third one then is learning and adapting, right? Instead of static algorithms, agentic AI learns from interactions and outcomes, improving its performance and adjusting different approaches in real time. The fourth one is advanced reasoning, right? Agentic AI can connect to multiple systems, coordinate across different tools and databases, and autonomously manage complex workflows, whereas previously chatbots couldn't do that. While traditional AI models can be powerful in their own narrow domain, like data analytics and generating content, like ChatGPT, we'd say, kind of. Agentic AI goes beyond by providing a high level of flexibility, actionability, and scalability in diverse applications. When properly implemented, it can help automate tasks and streamline processes without the use of human intervention. So I just cover one that Microsoft actually uses to kind of configure their models. Just 1 second there. I think somebody might be just trying to join us. 2 seconds. Okay, Joseph, you're back with us again. Okay, so these are kind of the three different kind of the traditional AI primary functions. They kind of usually automating on repetitive tasks, where generative AI kind of generated text, code, images, stuff like that, and then we're onto our agentic AI. It's goal orientated actions and decision making. Back to the other one, the traditional AI relied on specific algorithms like regression, clustering, classification, and rule sets, whereas generative AI kind of relied on the prompts that it was kind of guided with. So whatever prompt you made, the more you put in there and give it direction, that was kind of the generative AI sort of. Whereas from the agentic AI, it kind of operated without human intervention and oversight. So the traditional AI one, then from the learning thing, it relied on predefined rules and human intervention. So it's whatever the human picked to put in there, the different models. From the generative AI side, it's kind of data-driven learning from existing data, And then with the agentic AI, right, there was reinforced learning, improved through experience and that. So that was that one. I'm just going to show you the one that the Microsoft uses. One of them that it uses. It's called AutoGen, and it's an open source programming framework for building AI agents and facilitate cooperation among multiple agents to solve tasks. AutoGen aims to provide easy to use and flexible framework for accelerating development and research of agentic AI. It kind of uses stuff like PyTorch for deep learning. It offers features such as agents that can converse with other agents, LLMs and tools to support autonomous and put humans into the workflow, and multi-agent conversation patterns. So that's a kind of how the multi-agents kind of converse ins and out in different chats, and kind of hierarchical structure in the chat. There's the multi-agent conversational framework. AutoGen enables the next generation LLM applications with a generic multi-agent conversational framework. It offers customizable and convertible agents, which integrates different LLMs and tools and humans by automating chat among multiple capable agents. One can easily make them collectively perform tasks autonomously or with human feedback, include tasks that require using tools via code. So you can see there in the figure shown below the conversational flow with AutoGen. So that's kind of an overview there of the agentic AI and the traditional one and where things are going forward this year. So that's it, guys, for me. I wonder if Joseph is gone. He's having problems on. So Joseph kind of dropped off again. Any questions on that, guys?
I think Joseph has some internet connection issue.
Yeah. So Emmanuel, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you.
You just recently got the MVP, did you?
No, last year.
Oh, last year. Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Cool. So you're going to have to renew again this year?
Yes, yes.
How how is the renewal process? Is it difficult or
Well, it's almost the same way. I just received an email 3 days ago. Then basically the same way when I was applying for the first time.
okay, so that's like fill out the 24 thing.
Events. Yes.
And you know the part when you got the MVP and you have your access to add activities?
Yes, yes, but I've not been adding any of the activity. Rather, I was just compiling them on an Excel sheet so that for the renewal, I will just have to
Okay.
put them on there.
Okay, that's good to know because they don't really tell you that stuff, so they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of lucky enough that I got the MVP on October.
Yeah, you
So
have to,
and
you have to wait till next year.
so yeah, so if you get it from the 1st of October, you don't have to apply again this year. So
Yes,
I have it now for kind of like 18 months before I have to apply.
yes, something like that.
Okay. So Joseph, you're back with us there, yeah?
Yes, please. I try to see if I could use LAN, and if it's going to be better for me, I will try to present my screen. I don't want to give up now.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. No
I'll just
worries.
turn off my camera. Yeah, so I'll just
Yeah.
quickly present. Hopefully, I'm able to do this. Uh,
No worries. And we all know how can work out doing live
yeah.
demos. Yeah, we can see your screen there now.
Okay, so I'm just coming straight here. So I'm coming into data lifecycle. I'm coming into data loss prevention policy, and then I'm going right into policies. So that's going to load the policies I currently have. All right, so I'm going to. So what we want to achieve is to prevent Copilot from processing some classes of data in the environment. So we can do add, create a policy. That's what I just clicked. So you can give it. So what I observe is that if you choose any of these enhanced financial, medical, the built-in policies, then you're not going to have the option for Copilot. So you're going to do custom, and then you click on custom again. Until that you will have the option to click on next. So if you click on next, you can see prevents Copilot from processing, depending on what you're picking. So you can give like a description of what you want. So you do next. So the next is if you have admin unit, and this only appears if you have the E5 license, but that's not what I'm going to show us in this case. So you see the location where you want to apply the policy. So you see down below here is the Microsoft 365 Copilot. It's still in preview. So what I observe is that when you check this, it's going to uncheck every other locations, right? So if you uncheck it, if you also check this, it's also going to uncheck every other location. But if you check any of these other ones, of course, you can select multiple locations in this case, right? But what we want to do is to say, I don't want Copilot to process some certain classes of data. So you do next, and then you're going to create a custom DLP, definitely. So what's going to be the rule? So this is where you add the rule to say, You can just say stop Copilot from processing, maybe Copilot from processing. And then, so the condition is, now what you do is you add condition to say content contain, and then you come to the add condition to say content contain. Then what are you going to do? Add action, excuse me. Content contain, add sensitivity label. Yeah, that's it. So you can choose to now come. So you may have created your sensitivity label already. So I created this one. I call it prevent Copilot from processing confidential data. So you can actually create custom sensitivity label, or you want to pick the built-in. Perhaps you don't want Copilot to process confidential data, and then highly confidential data. Depend on what you choose from there. You can add them. And then what you do next is you've selected those, but you've not chosen the action. So you want to say prevent Copilot from processing content. So this is actually a preview feature. So you can select it. And then the next thing you do is to save it. And then you would so you would honestly fix sensitivity type is also required. So you can fix that up quickly. Prevent Copilot from doing this. Confidential, highly confidential data. Then you should be able to save really, but I'm not sure why this error is also again popping up. So when you do this, so the bottom line is when you do this, you can exempt that particular class of data to say Copilot should not be able to process it. And even on Copilot chat or agents, then it's not going to pick those data up because we are actually at the end of the time scheduled for the event. But this is basically how you can do that. But if you come to say you are picking the built-in, if you pick in the built-in DLP, you will not be able to if you come here to click, I'm just trying to show that quickly, and then you go to next. So if you pick, let's say, financial data, and you say Australia financial data, if you don't create your own sensitivity label, and then you come here, if you come to next, and very quickly, just waiting for that to give me option for next. So I'm trying to compare the built-in. You will see that there is no Copilot option here for you to exempt, right? But if you create your own label, you will really be able to select that particular location and prevent Copilot from processing data that speak directly to that class of data. So this is much I can quickly show us today. And I hope that that will inform us to go research more about how to prevent some data or some class of data from being exposed to Copilot if truly our interest is to prevent Copilot from processing such data. Thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Joseph. That was very informative there now. That was good.
Nice presentation as well.
Thank you, even though my internet will not allow me have a lot of stability, but I think I find somehow a way around it. So I'm trying to be on LAN and see if it's going to be better than Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Very good, very good. So the Microsoft Purview is a totally different track altogether from the M365, isn't it? It's one on its own.
Yeah, so it's actually an admin center on its own, and it speaks to managing. It's about data compliance and governance, really. So how to classify, manage your data, set retention labels on your emails, your files, then insider risk policy, talk about data classifications and all of that data that we have in M365. So it's part of the great part of the SC400 that I wrote today. So, and I think we have a lot to really look at there because of a compliance related issue, and organizations that actually works with some level of regulations in data management and handling. So something very important to look at.
Yeah, very good, very good.
Yeah.
So guys, we're up on the hour, just gone over, so I'm just going to end the live show. So thanks everyone for coming this week to the Azure and AI Show, and thank you Seena again for a great demonstration, and thank you Joseph for your demonstration as well. And
Yeah.
we'll be back here again at the next time, same time next week. And thank you very much.
Yeah. Bye everyone.
Thanks
Thank you.
all.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.